Let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. The viewers of GBN TV, good morning to whatever channel you prefer to view us via. Good morning. Also, those of you via social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning and welcome once again to another edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. With me this morning, we have, of course, I put a little handle in it.
Orlando
Romain. Ambassador Orlando.
Yes.
I think I was saying the little handle. The little handle I put on it. Ambassador Orlando. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I am well, and yourself?
Doing good. Doing good. Nice to have you on the program this morning. I think it's the first time I'm having you.
Yeah,
I am hosting the show. I think it's the first time I'm having you.
Yeah, I was driving on. I was like, have I ever been on the program with GT? I don't think so.
I don't think we ever.
Yeah, we had to correct that in 2026.
Most likely. There's so much to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
So much to talk about. Of course, you'll be the ambassador for, the creative, how do I refer to it? As the creative economy or the creative industry.
Creative industry is creative economy. I mean, the words can be used interchangeably. So I'm the ambassador and the advisor to the government on the creative industries, creative economy. We have a creative industries where we're trying to build an economy out of it, or integrate it more into our economy as a staple and pillar of our economy. Yeah.
Now, from the launch of the industry, remember that happened a couple of months ago, if I can put it like that. Was it in 2024?
2023 was
2023.
May of 2020. Yeah. Time flies, isn't it? Time flies.
It sounded like it was happened yesterday.
So much things happening that you lose track of it.
I lost track of it. Tell me. Talk to me about some of the major strides that has been made thus far, from the launch to where we are now. Talk to me in reference.
Absolutely. So I think a significant amount of strides has been made since we launched the creative industries or the creative economy, as you rightfully put, in 2023. We launched that sector with the Unleash conference. I think it was, by all intents and purposes, a success. A lot of persons who did not know about the creative industries in the way that we were positioning it learned a lot about it, its potential, its impact, and the fact that we actually did have quite a lot of activities happening within the sector, but in a very informal way. A lot of creatives attended, and we got a lot of inputs in terms of some of the immediate things that they wanted to address. And so for the last 2.5 years or 2 years, we've been working on addressing quite a few of those things. 3 notable pillars of intervention that came out of the conference was, 1, the need for capacity building. There were a lot of creatives on island, but a lot of them were self-taught. They go on YouTube, they have a passion, they go on YouTube, they learn their stuff, particularly those in the new media space, self-taught entirely, and doing good work nonetheless.
And that's good, good too.
Exactly. It shows initiative, it shows intent, it shows drive.
Yes.
But we need a more. They identify that we need a more formal system for identifying, training, and upskilling, our creatives. So that was one area, and we've done a lot of work in that. I'll speak some more to that later. Another area was financing. A lot of creators felt it extremely difficult to obtain financing for their creative ventures, and that has to do with the fact that the creative sector is largely informal one, and mostly tends to be micro and medium-sized businesses, and businesses of that nature always find challenges to obtain financing. I think the problem is even compounded with the creative industry because a lot of persons can't understand or value risk in that sector, so banks generally tend to stay away from investing in that particular sector because they don't know how to value intellectual property and to take that type of risk. So that was a challenge, and we designed some targeted interventions for that, which I'll also speak to. The third area, was institutional strengthening. Yeah. The sector was informal, still is largely informal, and so one of the recommendations that we need to have more systems in place to govern, regulate, and develop the sector, and we've done quite a bit in terms of that also. Out of this year, 2020-25, we completed, it's in final draft, our national cultural and creative industry strategy and 5-year roadmap, all right, which really outlines how we're going to systematically build the sector in the coming years. With regards to institutional strengthening, we would have established or contributed towards the establishment of four new associations for the creative sectors: gastronomy, which is food and so on, performing arts, music, and I think visual arts.
Okay.
And those associations and those institutions are very important because the government by itself cannot do all the work and should not do all the work. And so we wanted to help the creatives organize themselves into structured organizations that they can then lobby, advocate, and do things on their own to develop the sector. What we did as the Office of Creative Affairs was fund the consultant who would have worked with the creatives to help them structure the association, teach them about how to govern the associations, develop their bylaws and all these things. So we would have funded the consultations, the consultants, and the legal work. But the creatives themselves, they would have decided on their boards and their mandates and all these things. In addition to that, we are working on a project which will begin in 2026 to look at all the various cultural and creative entities and see how we can create some more synergy and probably consolidate into a more lean machine, because we have the Ministry of Culture, we have the Spice Mass, we have the National Cultural Association. There's quite a few different associations out there and organizations doing things for the creatives, each overlapping each other. So that's one of the projects we'll be embarking on. Of course, that will come with revision of the legislations that governs the creative sector and the cultural sector, and of course a new set of policies to govern that.
It's not as simple as it sounds. Eh?
It's not.
It's not as simple as a song. We always think creative. Well, that individual has a great voice, and he can sing, and he gets into the music.
Correct.
And most times, over the years, it's always just been left there. Other than the local competitions he may enter, and 90% of the time after that, that's where it's left. Until maybe the next year he does it again. No. In the sector, the industry, as we call it, the creative economy, how has individuals been gravitating to this initiative, Wallace? How has individuals been gravitating? From you, for a personal, and then for the entire, ministry or forefront that is running, how has individual been gravitating to this?
I think
was it rather surprising?
Yeah, the reception has been quite positive. I knew that would have been the reception because I'm a creative myself. I operated in that space. I still operate in that space, and I know the plight of the creative. So I know the things that we were initiating would have appealed to them. We have a database, a registry, all right, because we need to keep a log of all the active creatives in various disciplines. So we have a registry of about, I think, 900 persons registered right now.
Yeah.
Right. And most of them would have gone on to the point of registering businesses.
Okay.
So I think in speaking to, was Mr. Branch at Kaipo, we were one of the highest percentage of registrations or sectors registering for new businesses in 2024. All right. So it shows that the creatives are responding to the programs and the initiatives that the Office of Creative Affairs is putting out there. So the response has been extremely positive. If we send out an email now saying we have a training program or a funding program, guaranteed emails will come blasting us. So it has been quite positive. And the creators themselves have said, listen, this thing is really impacting my business in a positive way. I'm seeing the light. This is the first time this has ever been done for us in a strategic and structured manner. So I think the feedback has been quite positive. We have a very good relationship with the creative community, and I think those associations itself will even help us to mobilize the creatives even more. So I think it is a sector that is new, and I think is a sector that is certainly going to continue to create momentum, particularly for our younger generation of Grenadians.
Tell me the importance of the creative economy, the creative industry, and so forth to the economy of Grenada. How important is that?
Absolutely important. Last night I was on an interview with Minister Adrian Thomas, and I touched myself. We always hear that tourism is everybody's business. I think the creative industry is everybody's business. Yeah. Why? Beyond beyond its ability to generate its own revenue, right? It also is a strong supporter and linkage of other industries.
Okay.
So with regards to the creative industry itself, it's a $2 trillion sector globally, right? It is one of the fastest growing industries globally also, all right? It has the ability to generate real jobs, and not the low level jobs, but jobs that pay well. A unique characteristics of it is that it is how should I say, it has no respect for borders, right? You can be in Grenada and you can operate in any part of the world,
yes,
right? And I know creatives in Grenada who are doing that right now, whether they're animators, they're illustrators, they're graphics designers, they operate globally. So we're not confined by our geographical boundaries or geographical limitations in terms of how much we can earn. It has a high potential for export earnings that brings in real foreign exchange, all right? And it also allows the perception that it's for young people is not very accurate. It allows us to extend, I always say that, extend the useful or productive life of a citizen. When you retire, or any senior person retires, they retire with stories.
Yes.
If they want, they can turn these into books, into movies, into documentaries, and so there is a post-economic life after.
So that spin-off effect.
That spin-off effect after retirement.
Yes.
All right. So it really touches everybody, and it has significant economic impact, from job creation, revenue generation, foreign earnings, significant. But it also supports every sector. If you look at our agriculture sector and our light manufacturing sector, one of the challenges we've always had is our branding and positioning and packaging of our products. For years, I've been eating those plantain chips in the clear plastic bag, and then Sun Solar came in, branded really nice, and took the market. Right, same plantain chips, same taste, but different packaging, different branding. That's the creative industry creative industries at work. So if you are to up the ante of our other productive sector, it requires a vibrant and thriving creative sector to support that. All right. The same thing for tourism. It's dependent on content. It's dependent on influencers. It's dependent on media. Our tourism sector cannot flourish without the creative industries. Look at Spice Mass and its contribution to tourism dollars. So really and truly, it is that underpin, I would say, of almost anything that we do. Anything that we do requires communication, requires influencing, requires marketing, requires persuasion, and that's where the creative industries comes in.
So has the economy been seeing that benefit a whole lot from the creative industry thus far?
Absolutely. I mean, Spice Mass last year is one example of that.
Yeah.
Right. I think we had, by all accounts, one of the most successful years in multiple domains. Certainly in terms of numbers. I think in terms of revenue. I think in terms of the quality of Spice Mass last year. And that is a direct result of some of the work we've been doing within the creative sector, in particular music. We would have hosted a workshop, a masterclass for some of our producers on the island to level up their abilities. Right?
Was it Kenny from Trinidad?
Casey Phillips. So we brought in Casey Phillips, a world-renowned producer. He's done songs of Marshall, Kess, a lot of persons, to work with our producers to give them the tips, the tricks, and the industry expertise to level up their music. A lot of them were producing excellent music, but of course they're self-taught, and what you don't know what you don't know, right? And the course was extremely successful to the point where immediately after that we saw a shift in the quality of the music, and it's a direct result of that particular program. Spice Mass Carnival 2025, the music is trending all now. So right, we have Vaughn and the Jab Decision tour happening across the world and the region. And everybody's talking about Spice Mass. I believe Grenada will sink at least a 5 centimeters come next year, right? Because of the people that would descend upon Grenada, because the music is infectious, and whenever the music is good, the mass is great.
It's always what spins off.
It's always what spins off.
Good music always spins off.
Always spins off.
You often notice over the years, even though we may have had the substandard quality back to a point, but once there's good music, you always see that effect, that ripple effect, folks. Once you hear it, you want to come and
there's a direct
want to participate.
Absolute direct correlation. So I think that is one one example. And there were pain points of Spice Mass last year. One of the recommendations I saw come out was the food.
Yeah.
Right. The food that's being served at our events and on the streets is very monotonous. Chicken and chips straight. Yeah. And so we're working with TAMCC to upgrade their hospitality kitchen, because gastronomy is a big sector for us and a focus for us. And so we'll be working with experts to come into Grenada to train persons in street food, and how to elevate the presentation and the dynamism of the food that we present, so that when persons come, the music is good, but the experience, the food, is also good. So we have to work at things piece by piece. We're going to work on the various elements to ensure that Spice Mass, the contribution, of course, Spice Mass does its thing, and they're doing a good job. But they have other ways that other sectors, like the Office of Creative Affairs, have to interject to help support the growth of the mass.
Okay, great. We drew for a break. Let's take that break. When we come back, folks, continue with the conversation here on To The Point this morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
This December, the vibes will rise higher. Sunshine Promotions presents A December to Remember. On Saturday, December 20th, the National Cricket Stadium comes alive with pure reggae energy, live bands, and world-class acts. Direct from Jamaica, Anthony B. Tanya Stevens.
It is a pity you already have a wife.
And Junior Kelly. Gates open at 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. Get your early bird general admission tickets now for $100. Advanced general $120. Or limited front of stage access early bird for $250. Advanced front of stage access $300. Tickets available now from GoToFed.com and usual Sunshine Promotion ticket outlets. All tickets grant admission only. Look out for a performance from our very own Akeem with his band and Valine. Food and drinks on sale all night long. Your ticket gets you in. The vibe keeps you there. A December to remember. One love, one vibe, one December to remember. Follow Sunshine Promotions on social media for more updates.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. It's Wednesday, the 17th day of December, 2025. Welcome back. Of course, Romain with us this morning, Orlando Romain with us this morning. And we're talking about the creative economy, the creative industry, of course, all coordinated around the centering around the same thing. So Orlando will come back once again. My next question I want to ask, how do you plan to further enhance, or when I say enhance, or what added enhancement of the product there is thus far? What how do you plan to further enhance it?
Which product? Spice Mass?
Spice Mass.
We're
talking about the creative sector in general. That further enhancement that it needs. Because it may start. It's the launch to where we are now. You spoke of all that is happening, all the different workshops and everything else. But there's always that little bit of enhancement that always has to come to not to create that stagnant way about the industry. Talk to me about that. What are you planning?
So I mean, our focus right now is on capacity building. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to be focused on for the next 2 to 3 years. Yeah. All right, because we recognize that if our creatives have to compete. And the market is international. The market is not local. Right? If they have to compete, they have to be trained to a level of international standard. And so that is one of our biggest focus, to ensure that when a Grenadian walks into any space, they are recognized for the excellence of their work. And so excellence is a word that we push around a lot. We want to ensure that we have experts, right, in every field. So we will be doing a lot of training, and we will be, elevating the training as we go along. Next year, Ernest, we will be launching the associate's degree at TAMCC for the creative sector. It was supposed to happen this year, but due to limitations, we couldn't do it. But next year for sure we'll be launching that. So we have our short courses and so on, but we're looking to establish more long-term programs in the creative sector, music, film, and that will be done at TAMCC next year. We're actually working with them now to refurbish their music studio, so that they can train persons in the music production area. Within the Ministry of Education, we have appointed through the Ministry of Education a curriculum development officer in the name of Roger Williams, who deals with the development of curriculum within the creative space for the secondary schools. So there's a lot of progress happening within the education capacity building stage, because we know that if we really have to have a thriving economy, it requires persons, and the biggest issue right now in Grenada is labor across all sectors, and the creative industry is no difference. When I had with my agency, when we were growing, one of the limitations we had was the ability to find ready creatives who can work for us, and we literally reached a limit point because we couldn't scale anymore.
Can we go beyond that?
You can't find people, so we have to absolutely. So that's a big focus for us. All right. They have a lot of other pain points within the creative sector. So, for example, a lot of our influencers here cannot earn revenues from most of the streaming platforms, particularly like YouTube and Instagram, and that is because Grenada and the wider OECS is not part of Google's YYP program. So I'm actually one of the OECS strategic advisors on the creative economy, and we've been working to try to alleviate that particular problem. All right. But we have a few key sectors that we want to prioritize. Gastronomy, food is a big thing for Grenada. It taps into almost all other sectors, the tourism sector, the agriculture sector. So we really want to build a culture around food. Already Grenada has positioned itself as the culinary capital of the Caribbean, but that requires us to bring ourselves up to a level where we can really stand tall in that narrative. And so we'll be focusing a lot on gastronomy, our chefs, our bartenders and so forth. All that is part of the creative economy. We also be focusing a lot on visual arts, right? Multimedia and visual arts, in particular film and game development. The gaming sector is one of the fastest growing creative sectors, and it's very dynamic in nature because it pulls almost all other creative sectors. You need an audio engineer for gaming, you need a sound engineer for gaming, you need an illustrator for gaming, you need an animator for gaming, you need a programmer for gaming. Right? There's a lot of subsectors that's pulled into making one particular game. And it's a growing sector, so we're looking to focus a lot on that. You'll hear some more about that next year because we're working in collaboration with the OECS to roll out a regional program on gaming. Of course, music is a big one, right? And we've done a lot in music this year, and we're going to be doing even more next year. And let me just tell you the story about music. This year, as I mentioned, we started with the masterclass, right, for musicians and producers, and that was very successful. But we didn't just stop there. We also, those same producers received a grant to upgrade their studios.
Okay.
So we now have over 40 upgraded studios across the island, right? And I need to recognize Wilt Cambridge for that initiative. He came to us and said, "Listen, boss, I see what you're all doing. I like what you're all doing. One of the challenges that we have is that when we had to go and produce songs, we had to go in somebody's bedroom or their basement or something like that." And he took us around to quite a few studios, and when we saw the conditions that people were producing in and still producing good music,
yes.
It moved us, and we had to respond to that request. And that's one of the things the Office of Creatives does a lot. When we get feedback, we try to respond as best as possible. So I have to shout out Talpri for initiating that particular project. And so we work with him to identify some of the critical studios that needs upgrading across the island, and we've done quite a few thus far. So our musicians now have the training, but they now have the infrastructure and the space to produce,
which is critical. Yes.
All right. We also designed a program to intervene at a primary and secondary school level called Sing Grenada, where we worked with Jefferson Ramirez to design a program to introduce younger persons to the music field, and it was quite successful. We had I think it was a 2 or 3 week program that trained those young persons in songwriting, vocal training, the business of music. That's a big one. One of the outputs of that is the creation of an EP in collaboration with Jefferson Ramirez. So it was a really good exposure for young persons, trying to identify the talent at a young age and nurture it. That has to happen. Too often, persons have the talent when they're young. It's either beat out of them because we prioritize the academia and don't give them the exposure to grow and nurture that talent from a young age. So that's one of the programs that does that in particular. You would have probably also heard of our of the announcement of Vaughn as a WIPO ambassador yes. Representing soca on the global stage. It's a big deal for the Caribbean. It's a big deal for Grenada. It's a big deal.
What's a little bit of feedback
soca.
From him being that particular ambassador?
Oh, excellent. I think it shifted the eyes to Grenada more. A lot of persons within the region reached out to me and what Grenada is doing is really good. I see you all really pushing for your creatives to have that type of designation and have a Grenadian face representing that. So I think it's really the eyes are turning, particularly professional eyes are turning to Grenada as a destination that's pushing hard within the creative sector. All right, so it's really good exposure. So that happened, and up to last week we hosted a WIPO conference here to discuss intellectual property. Because that's one of the areas our musicians struggle with, right? Monetizing
for years too.
For years,
for a very long time.
Correct. Monetizing their intellectual property. Most of our musicians right now make their monies from performances. There are limitations with that. You age, and
particular event you are host to attend and
correct. You're hot now. Next 5 years, you're probably not hot. What happens to your career? And so, intellectual property is a way to safeguard around that, and also to maximize the potential for revenue earnings. But a lot of our musicians aren't registered with any CMOs right now, so they can't collect royalties on their music. So we'll be working with them to educate them on the need to register with at least, we have ECHO, which represents the OECS, at least that one, and or any other CMO. And also not just to register, but to be able to monitor, right, and demand value for their creative work. We also have to work with the local businesses here, particularly the restaurants, the hoteliers, the radio stations, the TV stations, to acknowledge and comply with the need to pay our artists for the use of their music. It's going to be a conversation that has to be had. We will be amending the legislations come next year to further strengthen the laws around copyrights in Grenada, ensuring that it's future-proof. We have AI now that's impacting, the creative sector in major ways, and so a lot of work will be done around intellectual property next year. So I mean, the roadmap for the creative sector is long. We're just in the infancy stage. I have to admit that for us to get to where we have to get to, it's going to take some work. But I think the will of this government is there, the will of the creatives is there, and I think most importantly, the potential of the creatives is very evident.
I mean, you spoke a whole lot about some of the achievements and the intentions of the creative industry, the creative economy, which is good, which is good. And you spoke a whole lot about some of the potential benefits that already been derived for Grenada in general. I want you to talk to me about your part that you play, sir, as the ambassador. What do you say? Tell me about the three of the biggest achievements you would say of being the ambassador since you took up that role. Talk to me about at least three of the biggest achievements.
There's a lot.
I think I'm just dropping three as a small.
Three. I would say one, the establishment of the Business Development Fund.
Yeah.
All right. As I mentioned, funding was one of the challenges. Is one of the challenges the creative sector face as a micro, small, medium, enterprise is categorized mostly by those. And so we designed a program to make available accessible financing for the creatives. And that Business Development Fund is done in collaboration with GDB. It's funded by our budget, but it's distributed via GDB because they have the capacity to do the evaluations and administer the program. And it allows creatives to, get loans, concessionary loans at 2%. Okay. Right now, if you have to go to the bank and get a business loan, it's 12%. All right, so it's a significantly reduced price, and there's a lot of creatives who've been gravitating towards the loan because it shows us that they're taking the thing seriously as a business. Yes. So the loans is designed for creatives who are in the sector for profit. We also have those non-for-profits, the dance companies, the heritage companies, the theatre companies, who provide the steel bands, who provide more of a social good. Yes. They don't make huge profits. They're not probably in the business of profit, but they need the support nonetheless. We have a grant program for them, and they can receive up to, I think it's $25,000 in grant support, and quite a few organizations have used that grant facility to either buy equipment or uniforms or training, whatever it is. They have been using that, and then we have a voucher system. What we recognize that a lot of creatives have business ideas, but it's not structured well. Okay. They don't know how to do a business plan. And so we designed a grant facility to allow them to access funding to hire an expert who can help them structure their business in the right way, giving them a chance of better success and survival if done properly. So we've designed the funding system to target different points and creators at different stages, and it has been quite successful. I think to date we are nearing about $3 million in disbursements to the creative sector, and I know of creatives who have come back and said, listen, if we didn't have this access, we could not have upgraded our equipment. And that's from the event producers to the decorators to the photographers, the videographers, and you actually see new services and products come into the market now because they have access to that facility. So I think it's one of the areas that I'm most proud of, because I know that pain point has been there, is there, and we still have more work to do, but it's a start and
of course individuals has been benefiting.
They have been benefiting absolutely. The second one I think is concessions, again around financing. Yeah. All small businesses, all businesses in Guinea complain about the duties, right? They have systems in place right now for concessions through GIDC for the tourism sector and XYZ, but we decided, you know what, this is a priority sector, it's young, we need to give it its best chance of succeeding, and we introduced the concession program that allows registered creatives to receive 100% concession on VAT and I think CET. Okay. All right, making the cost of bringing in their products, tools of trade, way cheaper, way more affordable, allowing them to expand and to grow their businesses. So that has been extremely successful. And I think another area, two other areas I think would be the acquisition of the Prairie building on Church Street. We acquired that building, it's a historic building, to open Grenada's first national art gallery, which will commence in 2020. 2026.
Yeah.
So that's a proud moment also, and of course the endless amount of training that we did.
All right. 2025 is almost at the stage of wrapping up. In a matter of days or a week or two or so, we'll be ending 2025. What are some of the expectations for the industry in 2026? What are we to expect in 2026?
Yeah, I think we could certainly expect a new set of legislations to govern the sector.
Yeah.
All right, that is a big priority for us in 2026 to complete a policy document and to roll out a new set of legislations that would govern the creative sector, taking into account the new creative sector that were not considered as creative sectors before. So gastronomy, film, animation. Mostly Grenada would have focused on music, dance, theatre, and so forth. And the legislation didn't account for those other emerging sectors.
Okay.
All right. So you will see certainly some new set of legislations to govern the sector. We can expect a change in the institutional arrangement around the creative sector. We may see the conversions of many of our other institutions into two main institutions, one focusing on the cultural preservation aspect and one focusing on the economic development aspect of the creative and cultural sectors. We can expect to see even more capacity building programs in 2026. As I mentioned, that is our focus, that is our priority. And certainly we can expect to see more awareness. I think we have done some, but I don't think we've done enough awareness around the potential of the creative sector, particularly within the school systems. All right. So going into the schools some more to educate young persons on the career potential of the creative industries. As I mentioned, if we are to build an industry, we need to have the human capacity to work within the sector, and we're not there yet. We're far from that. Okay. So that will be one of our focus, to ensure that we have a cadre of persons who can work within the sector.
Great. Happy to hear that. You know, some folks would say the initiative is rather new for Grenada. I mean, yes, there have been folks doing creative things for years in this country. Now we have a particular ministry that focuses on that a whole lot and so forth. No, with every new initiative, there's always those challenges that will develop or that you will come across. What are some that you experience in thus far that you will say, if we may have done this way or done this in that way, we put up getting better results so far? What are some of that, concerns you that have come across, or the challenges you would say thus far, if you have been experiencing any at all?
I think the biggest challenge is the perception of the creative sector. It's perceived as a sector of people having fun. Hobbyist people. So I think changing that perception and opening person's mind to the fact that this is a sector that has enormous potential and needs to be invested in, just as tourism, just as agriculture, or even more than those two, has been one of those challenges. We've had some successes luckily we have a government who understands it, but there's still always a challenge within the amongst the technocrats to really bring them up to level with what we're doing, why we're doing it. I mean, sometimes we get emails from other departments saying that they have this, they want to do this branding thing and they want to get a logo done. Can we do it? I was like, we don't do it. It's not what we do. So I think changing the perception around what the creative industries is, and it's not just calypso, it's not just steel pan. It's more than that. They are part of it, but it's more than that, and that it is an economic engine. So that's one. I think also getting the wider private sector to understand that creatives provide a service and they ought to be remunerated in accordance to the service.
Cut that seasonal attitude towards
and cut the seasonal attitude and trying to undercut creatives. When I was doing my business, a lot of times people come, I just need a photo. If you just come and just take a photo. No, it takes resources, it takes equipment, it takes time, it takes training, it takes a lot of hours post-production. It's a service.
Yes.
All right. And getting the private sector and the wider community, Grenadian community, to understand that these creators provide a service. It takes them time to hone in their craft and practice their craft. If it's a dance rehearsal or a calypso or a soca performance, it takes a lot of time and resources to produce these things, and it ought to be valued. I think those are some of the big challenges we have, and of course, budget is always an issue. Getting the right budgets, but I think we've been able to make the most with what we've had so far. We do have a minister who's very supportive, a prime minister who's extremely supportive. So I think that goes a long way in being able to do the things that we've done.
All right, we drew for a break. Let's take it. We come back with much more. Stay with us to the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
This Christmas, let peace be the trend. Let love and goodwill prevail among all men.
A message brought to you by the Royal Grenada Police Force in collaboration with the PBC Choir. Thank you.
This Christmas, GBN is lighting up Grenada. From November the 10th to December the 24th, your festive season starts right here with GBN's Christmas Catalog 2025. Start your mornings with Mid-Morning Magic. Weekdays 10 to 12, live fun, giveaways, and Christmas cheer every day. On Friday, December the 5th, the school's Christmas Challenge lights up the Trade Center. 15 schools, 1 trophy, and the voices filled with holiday joy. Then on Saturday, December the 20th, it's Christmas in Kamahan. Live music, food, shopping, toy giveaway, and the grand tree lighting ceremony. And on Monday, December the 22nd, join GBN's Caroling in the City, spreading Christmas cheer all through St. George's. Every Sunday from 5 to 7, enjoy Utah Sundays with classic Christmas tunes and prices galore. And from December the 1st, K105's Lights of Christmas. Guess that hidden cash and win. So whether you're singing, shopping, or celebrating, do it with GBN. Connecting with you this Christmas. Our partners making it possible: Flow, Ace Hardware, Foodland Supermarket, Grenada Duty Free, Answer Coating, Banfields, and Koyaba Beach Resort. GBN's Christmas Catalog, connecting you this season. Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back to our viewers. Certainly an interesting conversation this morning. Myself and Mr. Orlando Romain here, the ambassador for the creative economy. And we're talking a whole lot about creativity and creative economy, the creative industry here in Grenada. And, we've been getting a lot. He's been, of course, sending out a lot of information in terms of what it's been doing, the benefits that's been derived from it for beautiful Spice Isle, and the way forward for it also. I want to ask you this question, so of course, Romain, as we get back into the conversation this morning. Do you believe Grenada is in a position to host large or medium-sized movie production? Let's talk movies for say. Let's talk a movie. Not only we have had large, musical events taking place here, and the way it is now. And if not, what has been done to get us per se to that particular point?
I think we can. The question is how it's going to be done. So Grenada has the backdrop, the ambience, the cultural assets, the forts and so on that will attract any location scout or movie producer to come to Grenada to produce a particular movie. We have been getting quite a few mini documentaries, commercials. I know Land's End came here, Tory Burch came here, Nautica came here to do some productions, but it's limited in scope because, as I mentioned, we don't have enough expertise on the island. A lot of times when these companies want to do a production in a different location, they want to come with their essential staff, the director of photography, the creative directors, not full house.
Yes.
They want to come on island and be able to hire their gaffers, hire the assistants, hire the runners. And as I mentioned, capacity building is our key thing. So we need to be able to get our people up to the standard where they can provide these services when a production company wants to come to Ireland. Additionally, when the production company wants to come to Ireland, they don't want to come with all the equipment. Right, they want to come with their essential equipment, their lens kits, probably their lighting, and their camera, and everything else they want to rent from the island. So if we don't have a company at least, or companies who have things like C-stands and sandbags and apple boxes and so on that they can rent, they will go to an island where they can find these things. Yes. So they have. So that's where the concession comes in. We're allowing our creatives now to be able to purchase these equipment and stock them at a much more affordable rate. Right. That's where our training comes in. We're training them in various areas of production, and up to last week we had a training in animation and film production, right? Done by our friends from Animax FX in Ghana.
Yes. I saw a lot
and
about
they actually produced a short film which will be released soon, and they're trying to get that short film into various film festivals. But it allowed the students and the Grenadians to see the various aspects of a production, not just holding the camera and shooting. You have your script director, you have your script writer, you have your producer, you have your creative director, you have your gaffer, you have your director of photography. These are all sub-disciplines. It's like building a house. You have your contractor, you have your plumber, you have your mason, you have your carpenter. This is a lot of hands that goes into producing a particular film. Yeah. And so if we don't have those expertise here, companies won't come in easily because it's going to be very expensive for them. They're going to have to fly in their full team, book accommodation for their full team, feed their full team. It's way more expensive.
But the incentive for local people wanting to get into this particular industry is also important. The incentive factor. Because, a lot of folks here in Grenada may not see the benefit deriving for us in it as a small island. Yeah. You understand? So the incentive plays a big role.
Absolutely.
You talk about the production crews want to come to Grenada and rent equipment, but if an individual doesn't see a benefit deriving for him, he may not want to get into it. If you understand what you're saying.
I do. So it's like a chicken and egg situation. Do they invest and stock these equipment and then hope the job comes in?
Yes.
Or do they wait for the job coming and then purchase? I think it's a chicken and egg, and that's where the government comes in to be able to facilitate these things. One of the things we're going to be doing next year is onboarding a film commissioner. Okay. Right? Somebody who focuses on building the film profile of Grenada. All right. And of course, we will design key incentives for film producers coming into the island. They have quite a few incentives for locals to upgrade their stuff and acquire assets and so forth. we'll also be looking to execute what I call a familiarization trip next year. The tourism sector does it. They would, if they have to market Grenada, they would bring in 10 to 15 tour operators to the island, give them an immersive tour of the product, and they go back out there and they sell Grenada. Now, they have things called location scouts. They are the one who choose locations for films to happen. So we're going to bring in some location scouts and give them a tour, lay of the land. So when they are contacted by a production company, they can show Grenada as an option. So they have things that we have to do. We also want to start small, all right, and build up the capacity as we go. So one of the areas I think is a good entry point for us in the film sector is those corporate commercials for fashion brands or other brands. They always look for tropical destinations to shoot their summer campaigns. We've got some in the past. And we're going to try to get a lot more of those. So we're going to, on our end, from the state standpoint, we're going to be trying to bring more productions to the island and also work with the creatives to train them and to ensure that they have the equipment so that when those production companies come, we can take up the jobs and they don't bring persons from other Caribbean islands to do the same job. So it's a dancing act, and you know,
and
we understand.
It's still a lot of work in progress.
It's a lot of work.
You know, because sometimes I see commercials of particular, you know, business establishments here, and they use foreign influence into it.
Yeah,
you understand? Which I think there is a talent available here in Grenada that can be used.
And a lot of Grenadians,
it worries me to see VAT per se.
Yeah, but a lot of Grenadians,
it's not even our own. Yeah, you understand?
But in all honesty, a lot of Grenadians have been going outside of Grenada to work also.
Yeah.
So you know, we can't. I'm a big supporter of regional integration and the movement of.
I mean, I'm happy for that also.
Yeah.
But I've always said the use of our own is always important.
Always important.
Always important.
Yeah. And we just need more of that.
More of that. Yeah. You know, the animation has become one of the major multi-million-dollar, you know, industry in these days. You know, animation, everything is done in that nature. And folks gravitate towards that a whole lot. Where is Grenada in this field?
At its infancy stage, but it's one of our priority sectors also. And as I mentioned, we hosted a training up to last week.
That's why my question come around to that. You understand? You know,
on animation.
We really react.
Yeah, very infancy stage right now, but we do intend to put a lot of emphasis on animation because it serves. You see, animation doesn't only serve the entertainment space; it serves the corporate space, the medical space. So, for example, SGU has on staff, I think, 3 or 4 medical infographic animators. Okay. So they would work on animating parts of the organs as part of instructional videos. Okay. You know, if you're working for a car design company, animation comes in there to render modeling and so on of those cars. So it's a sector that is very important and moves beyond the entertainment space into the industrial space. And it's why we decide, you know, that's an area we want to focus on because our people can then find jobs in a lot of other places outside of the entertainment space with that particular skill set.
You know, I'm certainly happy to hear that because, you know, it's always seemed the regular stuff happening.
Correct.
And we want to move beyond that. We want to get to a stage where individuals, the major film production companies will say Grenada has what it takes to produce.
And we do. And
we have it. I have seen small films done in Grenada already, and it's at a particular standard.
Yeah.
You understand?
Absolutely.
And you know, just much more could be done with it to get that seriousness in terms of the people involved.
Correct.
And there's lots of benefit that could be
Correct
from it.
Correct.
We're due for a break, guys. Moving up to just around 7 minutes before the top of the hour. We're going to give this segment to our listeners and viewers. You may have a question or two you may like to ask. Feel free to do so. The number 435-2041. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the lines will be open. Stay with us, folks. To the point. Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back. Don't touch.
This December, the vibes will rise higher. Sunshine Promotions presents a December to remember. On Saturday, December 20th, the National Cricket Stadium comes alive with pure reggae energy, live bands, and world-class acts. Direct from Jamaica, Anthony B. Tanya Stevens.
It is a pity you already have one.
And Junior Kelly. Gates open at 9 p.m. Showtime 10 p.m. Get your early bird general admission tickets now for $100. Advanced general $120. Or limited front of stage access early bird for $250. Advanced front of stage access $300. Tickets available now from GoToFed.com and usual Sunshine Promotion ticket outlets. All tickets grant admission only. Look out for a performance from our very own Akeem with his band and Valine. Food and drinks on sale all night long. Your ticket gets you in, the vibe keeps you there. A December to remember. One love, one vibe, one December to remember. Follow Sunshine Promotions on social media for more updates.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, as mentioned before the break, in this segment, we'll give it to our listeners and viewers here. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask, feel free to ask it in this segment. We have our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, G, and good morning to you, guest. My question is that, get some light on the coroners during, I think, in the Independence Day. You know, I want to know how much that light costs for taxpayers and why did people pick it up?
Thank you, caller. Thank you for your. You want to respond to the caller?
Yeah, I don't have the exact costing with me. I can certainly inquire about that. I think the Independent Secretariat Committee would have the costing on that. The status of the lights right now, it was taken down and stored in a safe place. I do believe there's opportunity to use it at Independence again, but I think it served its purpose. It was our 50th anniversary, and it was a reason to celebrate Grenada in the best way possible, and I think it served its purpose.
Okay, we do have another caller. Caller, live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Caller, you have a device that is too loud in the background. You may have to turn it off before you continue.
Sure. I just did a small book, okay? But I intend to do the booking. I wanted to do the book in 3 parts, and I need help. Although I went in, my book is registered,
on Tool Stories. And I went in and set up application. But I really need help. I would like to contact somebody or meet with somebody to talk to them, but like a man like you, who is in this position. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cole, and congratulations on your publication. We have a lot of authors here. I think the amount of authors and books that we have in Glen is understated. There's a lot. We actually have a Publishers Association, so I would love to put you in contact with them for technical support. But in terms of funding support, the Office of Creative Affairs, through our grants and vouchers, can certainly support you there. Please take this number down, 534-4622. Contact the office. Discuss your project, and the persons there will be more than willing to support you in your endeavors.
We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, GT. I know you are creative yourself, you and Mr. Orlando. You know what I'm happy about is that the initiative that Orlando took on together with the government. I mean, it's something we've spoken about years and years in the music industry, in the creative, the people who are in media. So in other words, basically what I've heard Orlando said, that's basically a project within a project. So I just want to congratulate him, and I want to tell him, pray a lot more. God is good. Give thanks and praise, and let's pray one for another. Have a happy Christmas season, both of you.
Thank you, Cole. All the best. Thank you so much. Also,
thank you, sir. And I wish you the best for the season also. And thank you for your compliments.
Something we haven't touched a whole lot. I'm not sure, but there's always where we find in the Office of the Creative. Where's that located? So sometimes I don't hear anyone speak about. I'm going to go to X place because
So right now we have a desk within the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and the Creative Economy. That's 4th floor at the ministerial complex.
Okay.
The majority of the team honestly works remotely.
Okay.
So we've done all this coordinating remotely. And I want to shout out Ms. Tracy Batiste. She's the operations manager of the Office of Creative Affairs, and she's doing a phenomenal job in terms of administering the programs and the office. Without her, I don't think a lot of things would get done at the pace it's being done. So big up to yourself, Tracy.
Well, I hope for 2026 that could be fixed.
But we will, for 2026, we do have a location already identified. It's going through the final stage of procurement to do the renovations.
Okay.
It's going to be upstairs, the Steels building in Grand Anse. So enough space for training and a lot of things that we want to do. So the office will have a home come 2026 by the first quarter of 2026.
Okay, great. Nice to hear that. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing good.
Yeah, just want to make a little contribution in concern what the gentleman is saying. There's lots of good and nice sites for shooting films and things in Grenada. But one of the problems from experience is the people, it's true, they like to get people here. The locals and them, they know a lot of these places. What is happening? When they come and they go to the locals, what the locals are doing is damages themselves and damages the owners of the place. Because the owner of the property or whatever normally rents these locals, let's say for 10 cents. So when these foreigners come now, they come in just as if it's them that are renting it and you're giving them for 10 cents. But they should come and say, look, it's a film, that's going to be thing, so it's not us. But we don't want too much heavy. The people looking for a good price. So we'll give it for 25 cents. We take it for 25 cents. So what is doing, once we start to detect that now, across the board, high price for everybody. Thank you. And they're damaging their own self when they do that and crippling the owners of the property, because it's happened to me about 3 times. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. You want to respond to the caller?
Yeah, so the caller made an important point. Locations for filming is a big thing, all right? And it is a revenue generator within the film industry, both public spaces and private spaces. And again, that's something we would be working on next year once we onboard with the film commissioner to create some regulations around these things. Should somebody want to film on Fort George? Should somebody want to film on Grand Anse Beach? Should somebody want to film on Fort Matthew? What is the process? What is the fee or the licensing fee for that? And how is that administered? And also providing some guidance to the private property owners in terms of pricing. As he said, sometimes they pay very little, and sometimes if the person who's renting the property understands the sector, can fetch good price. I've known companies come in here and want to rent a villa for a day and pay as much as $5,000 US for half a day of shooting. So it varies depending on the production that's coming in, but it is an avenue for local property owners, the state also to generate revenues.
Okay, great. We do have another caller via WhatsApp. Good morning, you're live. Let's hear from you.
Hey, good morning, Orlando. And GT, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Orlando, okay, I work at a movie director, right, in my spare time, okay, as a camera person. And then I first want to congratulate you on the great job that you guys doing, because we're even thinking about coming to Grenada. Also to do a documentary, to do a short film too. And then one of the things that we want to know that if we come down there, we have to use the drone and everything like that. Do we need like a license or a permit or something like that? And then, okay, we'd like to get in contact with you also, because we're going to need some information from you on that. And it's a great thing that you guys doing in Grenada, to seeing Grenadians involved in more films and all these things. And, because when I get into it, I was very, very, very much excited. And up to today, I'm very excited because we do a lot of documentaries for New York City also too. So then, I'd like to get in contact with you also on that.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Right. So what I'll do, I'll give the number for the office, and you can ask them for my number, so I don't give up a number publicly. The office number is 534-4622. So just speak to Miss Rian Solomon, and she would provide you with my private number if you want to contact me. With regards to the questions about drone permissioning, yes, absolutely. Right now, that is regulated by the RGPF. Okay. So you need to get a permit from them to fly the drone. It's a regulation that's there. It's not monitored as it should. I still do see quite a few drones just going up in the air, but there's absolute need to regulate all of these things. And once we establish the Film Commission next year, a lot of these things will be done through the Film Commission as a one-stop shop for persons. Because that's one of the things production companies coming in, they want to go to one location to coordinate everything and not have to go to the police, go to tourism, go to customs, one-stop shop to coordinate everything.
Okay, good. We'll have another caller, and will be our final caller for the morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. On my passion for this, I think we'll talk with the microphone off, and you imagine that. I want to thank you a whole lot for being on the program this morning and sharing information. Lots of information with this morning. And I certainly hope that, individuals listening, especially folks who are going to be part of the creative industry, to come forth with the passion they have. You have spoken about among the individuals who have registered and so forth already. We want to see the numbers double. And, and just make it better for Grenada in general. Anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to say that this is a sector I'm extremely passionate about because I've seen what it has done for my life in terms of transforming. Originally, I wanted to be an accountant and economist, and I ended up doing a program in creative web development, and that changed the whole trajectory of my life. And so I see the transformative impact it can have in creating real jobs for Grenadians, not menial jobs, but jobs that can allow them to level up their lives, all right? Allow them a level of flexibility and a level of representation also. So I think it's a sector that this government, as I mentioned, is absolutely serious about and absolutely vested in. We will continue to invest in the sector. We will continue to champion the sector and advocate for the persons who operate within the sector. We want Grenada to be the creative mecca of this region, All right, and I see no reason why it can't happen. Already we're being viewed that way. As I mentioned, I'm working with the OECS, and they identified Grenada as the lead. Each Caribbean island has a lead in certain things, a lead in ICT, a lead in blue economy. Grenada is a lead for the creative sector. So there's a lot in front of us, and I'm just encouraging all creators out there to get on board. Seize the opportunities. I still think a lot of the facilities that we have could be utilized more. If it is a case of being too shy, know that this is the Office of Creative Affairs has no political affiliations. Everybody is able to access the programs and the services of the office. We have a very professional staff, always welcoming and ready to assist. And let's make Grenada a creative destination, a destination where creativity thrives, and creativity also empowers our lives and our society.
All right, great. So once again, so I want to thank you a whole lot for being on the program this morning. Pleasure to have you, and certainly hope in 2026 I see more of you on the program. Because there's much more about this we can expect.
Oh, absolutely. You will hear more from me. Yeah, absolutely.
So won't be a stranger at all to the program. All right, folks, that's where we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. That's where we say goodbye.